There's an opportunity right now for a potential Bitcoin short squeeze. So in today's show, we're going to have a look at the levels which we've outlined for the past couple of weeks. We've been looking at this as a base case plan for a couple of days now, and we're starting to see the first fruits of that moving into fruition. So we're going to have a look at that on today's show. We're going to have a look at some major news which has just come out around Uniswap, which is very, very important. There's something absolutely critical that each and every single one of you need to do. You have about 48 hours in which you can execute the task at hand to pretty much save yourself from a massive headache of problems to come. We'll have a look at the altcoin markets, and then we're going to have a look at a major paradigm shift which is starting to take place in the meme coin sector. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's show. And we are going to start off over here. We're going to look at the banter bubbles. If you look at the banter bubbles on the hourly, we're starting to see the very etchings of that squeeze, price moving towards the upside. On the daily, yesterday was a bit of a down day, but this is the nature of the bull market, a ranging market, right? We move through ebbs and flows of expansion towards the upside, and then we start to establish a bit of a range, and we just consolidate, and then the market needs to decide, right, what's happening next. The only way we'll know is once we leave that trading range. Are we going through reaccumulation right now, or are we going through distribution? All that I can tell you is it's a range, and consequently, you're going to see some red days and some green days, and you want to master your price action trading by getting in on the bottom of the range. So the potential for the short squeeze is here, because you can see, as per the Bitcoin price on the 4-hour time frame, it continues to remain in an uptrend. We have equal highs, but you have higher lows throughout, persisting as price grinds onwards and upwards. You have the spot buyers continuing to buy price up, also with higher highs and higher lows. But then if you look over here, you have leverage, which has just been plummeting towards the downside, and it's just a matter of time. Sooner or later, they're going to start to cover their short positions, and that should give us the next opportunity towards the upside, which hopefully we don't keep creating equal highs, but instead we break out of this area over here, clearing above that $73,000 level, which has been the base case and plan that we've had for quite some time, waiting to see the sweep above this level. And do we hold and defend that, flipping it into support, or do we just simply deviate and break back below? Want the full plan and know-how of what to do, go to yesterday's show, because I covered that pretty extensively. So yesterday we got the big economic data in. We had the CPI inflation data come out, and it came in hotter than expected. Now, this is also part of the plan. We spoke about thinking of the market like a chess player would, and considering the probabilities and how things could potentially start to shift and change. You can see the target rate probabilities for the 1st of May. That is going to be 525 to 550, which is pretty much unchanged. That's the exact same as what we've been for the past couple of months over there. So if you look at Jason Pizzino, he says that took 18 minutes from his last post to drop to just one rate cut. Remember, previously they were pricing in January. They were getting an 8 rate cuts this year in 2024. Then it was 2. Now, after yesterday's data, we're now down to potentially only 1 rate cut. And he says, yeah, the market's spoken. Get ready, because they said interest rates are too cheap, but they can go up, right? Charlie Balelio says over here, this is what you can be looking at. The expectations for May: pause, so it remains unchanged. June, pause. July, pause. September, 1 rate cut down to 5 to 525, and then pause over there again, and then still looking for another rate cut. So keep your eye out on that. As it changes, right, as the probabilities shift, the market will start to price that in. It doesn't mean that that will tank the market, because when they reprice and they decide that interest rates are probably going to be going up, usually it becomes a bit of a risk-off environment. But in this typical environment for Bitcoin leading into the halving cycle, which we're just a little over a week away before we get that Bitcoin halving cycle, that's probably going to be an opportunity. Expect a ranging market, expect a choppy market, and expect any dips are for buying and holding for the next 6 to 18 months, right? That's your prolonged bull market. The next 6 to 18 months, somewhere around there, will identify a market cycle top. So let's continue. I almost forgot. Before we do continue, guys, please help me out over here. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. When you smash the like button, it helps the YouTube algorithm send the show out to more people, which in turn helps us bring alpha to the rest of the masses so they don't get wrecked by buying the top of the bull run, right? So please help us out. Smash the like button, and then let's continue. If you look at zero hedge, this is under the Biden administration. Inflation has literally just been up only. It's literally had a small chance in July where it almost came down in 2022, but pretty much since the start, it's just been over here, straight up only in terms of that interest rate. ETF flows yesterday came in positive as well, helping with a little bit of green within the market today. This will eventually become a bit of a meme where it's not taken too seriously, but for now, it's still relevant. A lot of the market participants are looking at it, and if you can foresee what the flows are going to look like, positive versus negative, you'll know what to expect for that day's trading range. So for today's trading range, because it came in positive, you can expect mostly you're looking for long opportunities, right? And this is just a reminder of why it is a accumulation range, usually around that halving cycle. So even if interest rates get priced in as coming in higher and higher, you can still expect based historically what we've seen. Look, 2013, we consolidated near those prior all-time highs, and then following that we went straight up vertical. 2017, same thing, consolidates and chops around those prior highs and then straight up vertical. And here we are in of course 2024, trading around those 2021 trading high, those prior highs, and we're looking at expansion towards the upside. It's just a matter of time. So this is creating an order block. In trading, an order block is very simply an area where price is establishing a strong level of support, or it could be resistance if it's on the way down, and the market is trying to process and digest the prior move, and then that usually leads into a continuation of that move. So this is currently an order block which is being set in here, and we're waiting for multiple consecutive closes above the $69,000 mark. It's been chopping below and above for a couple of weeks, but once we close multiple candles above this level, it should flip it into support, and then we can continue higher with our Bitcoin rally. The overall trend is still towards the upside. It's as simple as that. As long as currently the invalidation on the weekly time frame is going to be $59,000. As long as we're above $59,000, it's macro bullish. If we start to break below $59,000 for Bitcoin, it starts to shift towards medium to even potentially longer term bearish. So that is really the line in the sand. And if you look over here at Stock Money Lizards, this is a really great tweet over here. Don't get shaken out. There's an increased intraday volatility in the 30 days before the halving cycle with relatively stable overflow price action. And he says this means that a lot of longs and shorts will get liquidated to grab extra liquidity if you highly leverage and you haven't opened those positions way back when we opened ours. The chances are you are going to get shaken out. You're going to get chopped in and out with increases in volatility. If you look here, he says on the right hand of the chart, you'll see the excessive spread of that intraday volatility. So one dot is on the intraday trading range in the years 2016 and 2020. You can see, look at that massive volatility. So the only dot that's an outlier is going to be this one, of course. The rest of them, you can expect extreme volatility, right? Your intraday volatility can reach up to, on average, about, I would say, 15. So what does that mean? That means that looking over here, look at the previous times. There you go. Look at the blue and the red. You chop in and out. Over there, you chop in and out. And then a couple of months or weeks after the halving cycle is where you go straight up vertical. So right now we're in that phase where we chop in and out. And you can see his lower level over here is also that $50,000 region. So really it's fair game, I would say, between about $58,000 and about $78,000 could be a massive trading range where you could see price oscillate back and forth for the next couple of weeks. And then once it establishes that 69K as a strong base of support, expect that continuation and expansion. Here you have price action on the 5-day time frame using our different moving averages, which are still bullishly postured. It's come very close to crossing the yellow below the green, but for the time being, this is still continuing higher and higher with price gravitating above. And once we leave that trading range, we'll know is this going to be a new strong trend in motion or not. So that's what we're seeing over there. We're also seeing Mr. 100, the 100 buys per day day or 100 Bitcoin buy order per day guy, continuing to add those 100 Bitcoins. Every time there's a little bit of a dip, they tend to add a lot more. So Vivek says over here, this is an undisclosed nation state that just bought another 100 Bitcoin. They now own 59,000 Bitcoin, which is very, very substantial. And I think you had Max Kaiser, he came out and speculated that it's Qatar that are buying these Bitcoin. Most of the speculations have been that it's around one of the Arab countries, one of the UAE countries, somewhere around there, that's probably accumulating this. I would say that most likely, just thinking forward thinking and thinking about news headlines that come at peak euphoria, probably if they announce that they were buying and we are trading with Bitcoin well over $100,000 6 months from now, and the news comes out that it was in fact a nation state, write that down. That is usually a sell the news event, right? So write that down, probably a sell the news event. Okay, looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we still messing around over here around that rising bullish wedge, or excuse me, not rising wedge, but the bullish wedge formation over here. And if you look at the RSI as well, something important to look at, we identified early on in the week, we said that most of the time in the bull runs, when that RSI comes down into the 50 zone, it usually bounces from that level. We also had the downsloping trend line, which I'll highlight to make nice and big, and we have started to break that. But not only break that, we're about to get the moving average crossing above the top side. So that could bring some newfound momentum back into the market, getting prices a little bit higher. For now, everything is super bullish in the sense that we are above the pivot level, we're above our 200 exponential moving average on both the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, which governs our lower time frame uptrends, right? Or downtrends. If we're above it, it's an uptrend. If we're below it, it's a downtrend. So we're above those. We're also above the daily 9 and 18 exponential moving average. And all in all, it's actually looking pretty good, right? We do need to see continuation and multiple closes above this $71,400 level, the red line, and possibly we could see that as soon as today. One big reason, of course, is because of what we're seeing here with the shorts, which have constantly been holding price towards the downside. If they start to cover those short positions, we might get that spike back towards the upside, breaking price above here and moving into price discovery. And then that next big question remains, right? What happens over here? Do we get a deviation back below? Because at the end of the day, we spoke about it a lot this week, we do still have the bear moon, right? The bear moon ultimately does provide a little bit of overhead resistance for the market. And all we want to see is for bulls to defend price action with this bear moon intact for the next 2 weeks. If we can hold up for the next 2 weeks without making new swing lows, then I would say that probably 2 weeks from now, you can expect price action will continue into price discovery, making those new highs. So also quickly touching on GUMMY, you can see they're doing a lot of great stuff over here. What a day in Paris. I feel like I lost my head. Of course, there's the GUMMY with no head. A lot of great meme culture stuff happening over here. I wanted to let you know, when it comes to the GUMMY airdrop, you are running out of time. The snapshot could be moments away. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next week. Please make sure that in order to qualify for the GUMMY airdrop, it's as simple as opening up a Blowfin account. Firstly, this has a double-fold benefit. The first thing is that GUMMY is going to be listed on Blowfin first before any other exchange. So you'll be able to buy it on the open market. It's the only place that you'll be able to do that in the beginning. The second thing is anybody who signs up to Blowfin now before the snapshot will get extra airdrops into their account based on the user ID, right? So if you go through, there's a user ID account over there at the top. Over there you go. That's my user ID as an example, 17974, and they've left out the last couple of digits for my own privacy. But ultimately, once you sign up, they'll take a snapshot using that user ID and they'll airdrop that into your account. So please, please, please make sure, if you want to participate like some of these guys are, you had this guy in Paris who's literally got 3 phones busy trying to airdrop farm on the Banter Bubbles, then yeah, take advantage of that. The Banter Bubbles is a separate allocation, right? So you can see the counter ticking over on the top over here. That is a separate allocation. You'll get airdropped for using Banter Bubbles, and then you'll get extra airdrops bigger. The biggest airdrop that you're going to get is from being on Blowfin. So use the link in the description below. If you come through here, it shows launching on 420. That means that the snapshot to determine whether you basically signed up or not will happen long before that 420, because it's an administrative nightmare to leave it for the day before. So please take advantage, guys. I've been getting a lot of messages about that. All right, let's continue. Looking at high block capital over here, you can see the long to short ratio still very even, right? This creates that ranging market, and this is a very useful chart, as I mentioned before, in a ranging market, but you want to look at it at the extremities of the range. So when you start to reach near the bottom or the mid-range level, anywhere where it's a key level of support, and you see negative funding over here, that is a buy the dip opportunity. The same is true when you start to sweep towards the top side of the range. So if we go into the top side of the range over here at $73,000, and that starts to go incredibly positive with a big ratio shift between the longs and shorts, then that will start to be a cautionary sign where we do look for the possible deviation. So the overall plan still remains. Nothing has changed over here in terms of trending price action. You do have all the EMAs in a bullish posturing. You have the 21 above the 50, above the 200. Price action is holding above that. You can see price came down. Yesterday, it tagged exactly perfectly to the wick into that mid-range level. So I'll give you the range levels, write it down on your own charts. Your range high is $73,000. Your mid-range level is at $67,535, which is exactly where we wick. And then all the way at the bottom of the range is going to be $61,356. So if you're somebody that doesn't have too much time to watch every single show, well, you're missing out on a lot of alpha, but still, I want to help you out. If you see something like this, and maybe you get really busy with work and you can't come back to watch another show, and you break below, expect that this opens up the trade down to here, and then possibly even down to here. This would be still in the realm of possibility over the next 2 weeks that you get a sweep of that range low. But for now, it looks like short squeeze in motion, and we really want to see Bitcoin bulls hold price above $73,000 for continued higher grinds onwards and upwards. The S&P 500 is also ranging. You have the Nasdaq also ranging. The Dow Jones is selling off ever so slightly. You can see it's broken structure over here on the daily time frame, creating a new swing low over there. Let's see, it depends on how this daily candle closes. If somehow the bulls on the Dow Jones can push price action back up over here, potentially it could close back into the range. But otherwise, as it currently stands, that's your range level for the Dow Jones. Here is your range level for Nasdaq, and then of course I've already marked out the range level for the S&P 500. And if you look at Coinbase, which is on the bottom left, Coinbase is still looking a-okay. It's trend continuation with high highs and high lows, although similar to crypto, you are getting that slowdown phase, right? You're getting that slowdown phase. All markets pretty much showing signs of slowing down, creating a range, and the range is good, right? The range is good. It allows for the psychology of the market to catch back up and understand that this is the new base of support. And as long as that range gets defended, it's an opportunity to reaccumulate into the market without buying while things are moving up too quickly towards the upside. So that's that. Look at total 3, same story, ranging over here. This is going to be a boring range for quite some time. Select altcoins will rally. We identified some of them yesterday. We covered the real world assets as a big sector to look at. Once the liquidity gets drained from the meme coins, real world assets have already been showing a lot of market strength, right? So if real world assets are showing a lot of strength now, we're still, whilst all the liquidity is in the meme coins, imagine when that liquidity starts to drain out of the meme coins into actual altcoins, the real altcoins that have, strong tech and longevity in the space. Those ones that are showing relative strength now, like the real world assets, those are going to fly. So we'll cover some of those in just a moment. Start dropping your altcoin requests in the chat. I am busy monitoring it, so please drop your altcoin requests in the chat. Also, guys, again, smash the like button. It really helps to get the show content out there. And then there's something very important within the space of crypto that has just taken place. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not seen it, but you're faced with an opportunity right now to, I almost want to say, save yourself a lot of headache, a lot of trouble, right? If you go over here, breaking, Uniswap Labs received a Wells notice from the US SEC today. Uniswap founder 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗓 said that the fight will last for years and may go all the way to the Supreme Court. Uni has fallen now 13.4% in 24 hours, and it's trading at just under $10, right? Okay, this may affect the development of the entire DeFi industry. Very, very important. Please sit forward in your seat. Listen, guys, this affects every single one of you. It's very, very important that you take the necessary steps to protect yourself. With this, even Brian Armstrong, of course, founder of Coinbase, says, I stand with crypto in this November election. Will you join? Right? This is, of course, in support of Hayden, who's the founder of Uniswap. Now, what does this mean for you, and how does this implicate you? Okay, if you live in the US, which I know a lot of you do, or you live in any country that doesn't want you to trade crypto and that's highly regulated, they don't want you to trade futures, they don't want you to trade any of these types of things, and you haven't disclosed something that you may be trading, right? Let's say you have separate phantom accounts, you are degening into meme coins, you haven't filed for tax season. This affects you. It affects everyone, right? What does it mean? It means that they have your IP address, right? They're going to subpoena them. They're going to get all of their information from Uniswap. And every time you use the Uniswap or your MetaMask, that is all linked, right? It is a massive, massive honeypot for the SEC. It's exploited data. They'll basically be able to get your IP address. And once they have your IP address, if you've never used a VPN or you didn't do anything to cover all bases and protect yourself, they'll be able to find everything, all of your crypto. Usually they'll file for this information within the next 48 hours. You have about 48 hours left to protect yourself and to get a VPN. I can show you guys. I never, ever, ever trade without a VPN. So how does the VPN work? Well, simply you can choose. There's many different VPNs. I can choose which country I should be in. Let's say I want to be in the Bahamas, right? We know that the guys love to move to the Bahamas for a reduction in taxes. So there it is. I've just selected to move to the Bahamas. Now, everything that you have over there would be in the Bahamas. They have a partnership with NordVPN. Again, you don't have to use them. You can use a whole bunch of different other suite of VPNs. But if you do use, I don't have it on now, of course, here, because it'll cut my internet on my laptop. But if you do choose to go with them, it's 67% discount. It literally works out to less than a coffee a month, guys. It's 9 cents, US cents, 9 US cents per day if you sign up using the link in the description below. 48 hours, they are going to exploit that data. They're going to have the IP addresses of anybody that used Uniswap. So if you've ever used Uniswap, I would consider something like this. You can take it a step further if you're in the right jurisdiction. I'm not. It counts for the US, for Europe. You get this incognito. It's a partner as well of, it's part of the suite of NordVPN. They'll remove all your data, right, from all these places that are selling your data. They'll clear and wipe those databases for you. So you get 30 days money back guaranteed if you don't like it. But at the very, very least, have the standard 9 cents per day, less than 1 coffee a month for when you are doing your crypto trading and swaps and things like that. Okay. So I've warned you, that's out the way. I've warned you, be careful out there, guys. Be very, very careful. You guys know that the US are not too friendly when it comes to these types of things. Now, let's go into ETH BTC. It's come back into the key level. So this is the area of significance, and that's the question we have to ask ourselves. Is it following this path? Is that just a trap and a deviation back below? Or is it an actual reclaim? So currently you have the break of structure. You have the higher high in relation to the last lower high. And is this going to be a higher low and defend this price level? If so, then really all you need to view for ETH BTC chart is this, right? Just treat this as your interim trading range, right? So this is going to be the trading range over here for quite some time. I think it will take a while for this to reclaim. When you eventually reclaim 0.055, bullish for all altcoins, including Ethereum against Bitcoin. As it currently stands, of course, we're still at those low levels. ETH USD is holding up above $3,500, so that does look okay. You got Bitcoin dominant, same place, not much changed over there yet. But when you are trading your altcoins, this is what you want to consider. The importance of charting your coins versus Bitcoin. This is ApeCoin versus BTC. It's been in an incredibly strong downtrend, right? At the very, very least, before becoming a heavy long-term investor, there's Curve. There you have Cosmos, Atom, right? And then you have Stellar Lumens, one of the altcoins from 2017, losing enormous value. And this is on a daily time frame, just bleeding out against Bitcoin. Please, 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 if you are going to make a long-term bet or an investment and you want to hold a big stack of cash in an altcoin, before you do that, at least check the chart, right? You'd want to wait, for example, to see Ape BTC break structure, create a high, low, probably even another high and another high low. So you at least have like 3 high lows and 2 high highs, and then maybe you can consider going into a position like that. So that's just a bit of a lesson for you there. We got the rest of our altcoins over here. Again, yesterday, I'll quickly remind you the ones we went through. If you didn't catch that show, you can go through to find that. Here we went through the real world assets: OM, Boson, Ondo, Token, Tokenai. We got Propsy, IXS, Rio, C-Pool, and Dusk. And these have been doing very, very well. If we look at the chart over here, it's been a straight uptrend, right? Very, very, very strong looking sector. Okay, we'll get into the altcoin requests on the normal charts in just a moment. I just want to quickly touch base with something significant that I see happening within the meme coin sector, right? We've been playing the meme coins as aggressively as one can possibly play it, and I don't regret it for one single moment. Many people in the community have literally made absolutely life-changing gains, right? If you look over here in Whale Room, here is 𝗬𝗬𝗕𝗧. This is the trade that we gave. That is the Whale Room entry that everybody got it at on the 1st of April at 1 o'clock is when I dropped the trade over there. They're up at the time when I posted this, 54x returns. Previous trades have done over 100x, some even as high as 1000x if they got in as I posted it, right? In terms of the meme coins. So here it is, very, very, very strong. 𝗬𝗬𝗓 up 46.65 million. Now, the point that I wanted to make over here is we're noticing a little bit of a shift. And one of the DGens in our group, so if you look over here, the African DGen, he writes this tweet thread and basically explains, the meme coin paradigm is beginning to shift. And I totally agree, 100% agree with this, right? He says we're beginning a true decentralized meme economy, an economy that rewards idea generation, quality content, and commitment to longevity. So hear me out, because there's a lot of money that's to be made here, guys. Do not fade this. Every cycle, there's something that takes over. Once it was the NFTs, once it was DeFi, then it was ICOs. I feel like this cycle is meme culture. So you probably want to hear this, right? Even though I know they hold zero value, zero underlying value, but just hear us out over here. Okay, now if you look at the one-dimensionality of a lot of the meme coins, some people will just get something that's a once-off memeable image, and they'll post that onto the internet. Everybody will love it. They'll take that, they'll attach a contract address and create a meme out of it, and people will love it, right? It will pump aggressively towards the upside, and then when the party's over, it will dump, and that's the end of it. They rotate their money out, and it's all over. But if you look at things like 𝗬𝗬𝗓 as one example, this is a less common example, but it is one example. You're starting to see things change, right? He says over here, a token that achieves funny or good meme idea status, but it adds longevity, right? High quality, it's got evergreen content and relevance. This kind of content is generally more rewarded. In the traditional social media space, that might mean more regular engagement, multiple viral posts, maybe a brand deal even. Think of that. Maybe it even gets something like a brand deal eventually, and some ad revenue on their videos. If they grow a big enough account, they'll get ad revenue on the videos, and then they can continue to create more and more content. For years, people in crypto have talked about building a true decentralized social media platform that allows you to invest in creators and earn a share of their ad revenue, and they all failed. And I believe we are seeing this play out today before our very eyes, but with the ad revenue. Imagine being able to invest, for example, in Mr. Beast as he rose to fame, and he had a ticker that was connected to him, right? What would his upper limit be? Probably as a market cap, many billions, right? Many billions. And that's kind of what we're starting to see as a bit of a meme economy. So what does this mean for you at home? It means that you probably need to do your due diligence. You need to think before blindly buying into a meme coin. What could this thing possibly become? Is there personality behind it? Is there opportunity, to engage with other memes and leverage off of their communities? Can they report on non-crypto related content when crypto eventually starts to become boring, move sideways? Can they garner attention? It's all about grabbing attention, right? Can they get that attention elsewhere? Well, I think with THETA, this is why I was so bullish on it. And I said, I'm not selling one single token. And despite being up over 50x on this trade already, I'm still not selling, not even close to selling. You can see the chart looks beautiful. It's a straight uptrend, creating level to level of support, flipping that and continuing higher. So it's looking good. It's not necessarily the only one, right? There's Jensen, which is, of course, the founder or CEO of NVIDIA. They're attempting to do something with him, but is he a news reporter? Not really. He's just a technologist and a CEO. So is there as much opportunity for him to report on let's say, the upcoming elections? No, of course. THETA is going to report on the upcoming elections. What about if we continue down the list over here and we look at some of the other meme coins? What about KEEMJONG? Well, I have this position over here, and it seems the Asian coins seem to be moving, but same thing. I don't necessarily see an opportunity for this to become as big as THETA. And this is how you want to think of these things, right? You got Tesla over here. This is Redlon Musk. Maybe Redlon Musk, because if Doge picks up, there could be a parallel trade against Dogecoin over there in Tesla. As for the rest, I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure. There's, of course, it's all fun and well. I'm still holding my 𝗕𝗎𝗓. I'm still holding my 𝗕𝗎𝗓. I'm holding all of those positions, and I think that they can do well. But there's a paradigm shift that's taking place within the meme coin sector, and I do think it's something to take note of, right? We had Vitalik Butter Chicken. That's an example, right, of one that was just funny. Look, big push up, massive push, reached almost $4 million market cap overnight, and straight slam dunk back to what are we at, $400,000 market cap. So things to consider, right? Let's get into some of the other altcoin requests. I think I've made my point over there. Also, by the way, guys, if you are in Whale Room, you will also get additional airdrop on the GUMMY token when it does come out, which is set for 420, right? You will also get additional, look at this, collaborating with 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. So yeah, it's got far. This meme thing has become quite significant. Bear in mind also, if you do deposit into Blowfin, you get additional bonuses on the airdrop for that as well. So, and claim your sign up reward. Let's not even forget that you get a sign up bonus when you do sign up to Blowfin. It's all detailed below. There you go. Got NordVPN, and then underneath that, you do have Blowfin underneath here. And then, yeah, let's go to the comments. Let's get into some of your chart requests. What are we looking at today, guys? Let's see. What are we looking at today? Let's go to uni. Let's just see, given everything that's taken place. Luckily, we closed out our long trade. We're back below where we closed that long trade out. So this is going to be viewed as an absolutely enormous deviation back into the range, right? So let's just zoom out, get a little bit more perspective over here where we at. Look, this is probably going to come all the way back down to mid-range at the very least. I believe uni will go back to $7.27, and then we can reevaluate from there. If it does break below this expansive candle that took place over here on the 23rd of February, this is the candle when they made a switch to their I think it was their fee mechanism or something. That was where you got the massive spike towards the upside. If you break below that, it's going to be looking really bad. Then you're going to visit all the way down to 477. Okay. What else have we got? I'm quickly scanning the chat. I'm going to try look for, okay, I see Alam's asking, is there a minimum deposit on Blowfin to be eligible for the GUMMY airdrop? I think it's $100, a minimum deposit of $100. Sign up, deposit $100, guys, and you will be eligible. Okay, OM, we covered that yesterday. It's going to be in the same place. Gear, let's look at Gear. We can look at Gear because I know that's doing pretty well. Okay, Gear USDT. All right, let's take the one on Mexi. There we go. Okay, this is one that we haven't done. So let's have a look at gear. It's looking fantastic. You got a beautiful rounded bottom, price push towards the upside. It's a very, very sloppy cup and handle formation, right? A sloppy cup and handle formation. Spike up creates the handle over there and continuation onwards and upwards. So that is the gear chart, but let's just mark it off a little bit neater than that. Where would the support levels be? Because now it's obviously in price discovery. This is definitely going to be your support, right? So yesterday's candle pretty much should be the invalidation. If you start to break below that, then things could start to become bearish. Expect that in the future to be support. If price comes down, that becomes your next buying opportunity. And then you're looking for continuation, right? What else have we got? SUI. Let's go to SUI. SUI all the way on the top over here. We did do SUI yesterday, but let's have a look. Okay, so almost hit our level over there. That's the zone that we've been focusing on for SUI. We hit the level yesterday. So let's observe what happens. Does it hold the range high coming in at $1.46? If it can defend that level, then it should be good for a bounce. But I expect the range to continue for quite some time, just like the rest of the market, right? Just like the rest of the market. THETA. Let's look at THETA. All right, THETA. Let's bring it up. Amazing. Cool. Here we have it, THETA. Okay, those are the levels similar to the rest of the coins, right? You are creating a range. So there's your range. Here's your range forming. That's going to be a range high 347. Your range low is at 245. Okay, otherwise, as for THETA, I do expect continuation, right? I just think the whole market's going to go through a bit of a slowdown phase, something like this. So just be prepared for that, guys. It's going to get a little bit boring. It's probably going to get a bit boring unless you're trading something that's got all the liquidity and attention, which is what I try bring you. I always try bring you guys the fastest moving things with the most attention. Okay, PYTH. Let's bring up PYTH because we haven't looked at that for quite some time. And I know Chainlink has slowed down a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if PYTH has. I know that people are also staking PYTH for a big airdrop, and that airdrop is done. So does that change anything for the PYTH token? All right. Okay, here's PYTH. It has been holding. There we go. Starting to break the upsloping trend line down. Again, that's not necessarily a death sentence, but it is a sign that it's probably going to range a bit. So marking off the next level on PYTH, this is what I'd focus on. Yesterday's wick that came into that zone. You want to hold above yesterday's wick low. So that means that price needs to hold above 73 cents. And if it can, same thing as the rest of the tokens, right? That's your potential range. Range high, range low. Similar to what we had down here, expect that bit of chop to continue. It usually goes on for quite a while. And then later on, you can lead to further expansion towards the upside. So that would be a buying opportunity over there. I would have bought over there. I mean, theoretically, you could be buying right over here. Now, stop loss would go below. If it gained acceptance underneath 73, then you'll close out because you're probably coming down to 56. And if you lose that, well, probably going to bleed all the way out, something like that. That's what I'd be looking at. Okay, Arbitrum. Let's have a look at Arbitrum. We did look at that yesterday. I see it's one of the requests, but the layer 2s have really not been holding up too well. The layer 2s have been doing terribly. Look at that, bleeding out all the way back down into the old range level, which is going to be $1.30, right? $1.30 to $1.34. Watch that as the level to hold. Okay, let's see. What else have we got? What else have we got? Guys, spam those comments. Spam those comments with whatever you want. I'm just looking for coins that are slightly different to all the other ones that we've done. Okay, let's look at, we'll look at Solana and Phantom. I see. Okay, let's go to Phantom since it's right here. How is Phantom doing? So far, it looks pretty decent for that to be a high low. If this is in a strong trending move and it is going to go parabolic, you would expect it to move up very, very quickly. And that's going to be your next level of resistance coming up at $1.40, right? $1.40. So I would, again, treat it just like the rest of the market as a range. First, this would be the highest priority, is that most likely it's going to find a bit of resistance over there. But if you are in a long trade from the bottom over here and you see it's holding above, then expect $1.42 as your next level of resistance. And then let's go to Solana. Also, guys, let me know in the comments, are you going to be in Dubai? Are you going to be in Dubai? I want to know how many of you are going to be in Dubai. I'm going to be arriving in Dubai on Monday evening. So we'll be traveling. Shows will still be happening, but I just need to check the time. I think, what's the time in Dubai right now? It's probably, I think they're like 2 hours ahead, so it should be fine. Okay, looking at Solana, very, very similar to what the PYTH chart looked like, right? So that wick was probably the buying opportunity over there. Expect the range to continue. So even if it gets to the top side over here, I would say chances are probably rejects one more time. You might get lucky if you get one more opportunity back at the bottom over there, or theoretically, if you have no exposure to Solana and you want it, this could be a decent spot to allocate some and watch and observe that it holds this range. Okay, checking the chat over there for Dubai. How many of you are coming to Dubai? Okay, I just need it seems like it's a little bit laggy in terms of the speed of getting these comments through, so we'll just wait for that. While we wait for those final comments to come through, guys, again, please make sure that you smash the like button, do what you need to do to protect yourself with NordVPN or any other VPN, but you get 67% off if you use the link below for Nord, and then also sign up to Blowfin so you qualify for that snapshot, and keep your browser open for, of course, the banter bubbles. Keep that browser open for banter bubbles so you can keep mining those points, right? I think let's cut it off over there. I'll see all of you guys on the next one. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. So trade safely out there, and cheers for now.